Peace family, Vie Darling, the Cosmic Queen and your intergalactic interpreter, and I am here to give you a little reading on what we can expect with this full moon lunar eclipse that is happening today, the 17th of September 2024. Technically it's actually happening at 2:34 Greenwich Mean Time. If you know me, you know that I absolutely love to tap into the numerology, and I feel that this is saying that we are definitely timeline jumping, we are definitely quantum leaping. We're definitely at quantum leaping. And I'm just pulling it up here. The full moon happens at 2:34 and the lunar eclipse happens at 2:45. That comes down to 9. So that means that this is the end of a cycle, and boy, let me tell you, it sure is. We then have the solar eclipse that happens in October on the 2nd, and it's a huge deal. There's really no way that I can overstate this. If you actually look at the chart, what is absolutely insane to me is that in its 2D form, you have a grand water trine overlapping with a grand earth trine. 7 of Swords in the reverse position. Haters talking never made me mad. Never went on my favorite paper tag. Y'all know I channel that song a lot. The opposition is being silenced. They're not even going to be able to form words. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. And if we remember what Yeshua says in, I want to say Matthew, or it might be Mark. But either way, he says, I'm not come to bring families together or whatever. No, I am a weapon. I am forged in the fire. I'm a weapon of destruction against indoctrination, against division templates, against the old guard, 1221, mirroring, coming into union. I swear, y'all, coming into union with our divine counterpart, with our soul family, with our calling. It's incredible. And that's what is happening at this time, okay? It is a grand earth trine, and then inversely is a grand water trine, creating what is a 6-point star. Some might know it as the Star of David. A triangle over, and a triangle pointing upwards, which is actually fire, and a triangle pointing downwards, which is actually water. And look, either way you cut it, it's whatever. But quantumly, if you bring that into the 3D, it's a tetrahedron. And what is the tetrahedron? The tetrahedron is the vehicle. The tetrahedron is the vehicle. The tetrahedron is the I'm blanking. I don't know. It's the Holy Grail. So when we come into union within ourselves and we reach the 0 point within ourselves, and we're at union of the feminine and masculine energies within ourselves, and we are fully integrated, we're able to go anywhere. You know what I mean? And they talk about this in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, Hermes Trismegistus. They talk about this. Knave of Swords, Seven of Wands and Ten of Swords. This is the end. You know, something like we've been on the threshold for a long time. It may feel like we, you know, I was talking to someone today and we were just talking about like, by the way, when the moon enters Libra, Greenwich Mean Time, it's 22:20 on the 1st of 2024 of October, and that is 222. So this is really talking a lot about divine integration, okay? I was talking to someone today and it was like they were saying like about being between realms and like being in one realm and being in the other. And when I think about that, it's so painful. It reminds me of that story of like, this is a story in the Bible, but I actually knew about it from like this book that I read as a kid because it was said to have been a like Chinese proverb or parable or something like that. This is like, I don't know what this is. I think it's like a stain that's been on this shirt for a while, but I'm in my pajamas, so whatever. But basically these two ladies were like, it's my baby, no, it's my baby. And they were gonna, the ruler, they said it was King Solomon, but actually, like I said, I read this as a Chinese parable, so I only recently heard about it, like being a story from King Solomon. But basically, the baby is being pulled between the fake mother and the real mother, and the real mother's like, actually, I'm just gonna let her have you because I'd rather you be alive than like rip you in half over what, you know what I mean? And I think that that actually says a lot. This is a perfect place for me to stop and take the rest of this reading over to YouTube. So if this reading, if you're interested in knowing more about what I have to say in regards to this full moon lunar eclipse that's happening in the sign of, well, I want to say Libra, but I know that that can't possibly be right. Pisces. The sun's in Virgo. I'm jumping. Because we're timeline jumping. I also feel like that is saying like slow down, be patient. I'm sensing the temperance, the energy of temperance in this reading. But so what I want to tell you is, if you would like to know more about what I'm talking about, go ahead to my YouTube and watch the full reading there. If you're interested in getting a reading with me, whether that is astrology, tarot, Akashic records, past life regression type stuff, or doing an oracle healing session with me, which includes energy work, or booking a self-sovereignty coaching package with me, all that info is on my Etsy. You can reach out to me if you need help with that, but book with me. I love you. I can't wait to see you. Also, I have a workshop coming up on Sunday on the equinox, autumnal equinox, the 22nd. It's virtual. I keep saying I feel so stupid. I have a workshop coming up. I'll put a link and you should come. It's donation based, so even if you can't pay, you can still come. I can't wait to see you there. It's going to be super special, and this is my first time doing a workshop or a circle in years, like literally years, so I hope to see you there. Instead of effing around with my hair for the rest of this video, I just put it up like so. Anyway, let's talk about it. So we're coming to the end of a karmic cycle. There are some very valuable lessons that you needed to learn, especially if this is your first time incarnating on Earth. The reason why a lot of us did that was because we wanted to learn certain things. The projections are out the window. You have taken back your sovereignty through this journey. And if you haven't, you're probably not watching this video. I don't really read for that karmic collective, but if you haven't, then this is your invitation to start doing so. Take back your sovereignty, take back your power. Instead of allowing people to tell you who you are, you get to decide who you are. You get to write your narrative for yourself. And that's actually so liberating, and yet people are so afraid to be accountable to their power. Listen, you don't come to the free will realm and not have power, okay? Period. And a friend and I were talking earlier today. I keep touching it. A friend and I were talking earlier today, and they were pointing out how Iblis, and who became the leader of Shaitan, the Shaitan in Islam, Shaitan, well, in Semitic languages, Shaitan literally means adversary. And when we look at Islam, which obviously is Abrahamic, yes, but it 1, 2, 3, 1 on the clock is an extrapolation of the beliefs that were already present in that region. So Shaitan are the non-believing spirits. They are the adversarial energies and entities. And the understanding is that Iblis was a fallen angel who rebelled against Big G because Iblis did not want to serve humankind, because Iblis was like, first of all, I'm made out of fire, he's made out of dirt. Second of all, we've been here longer. Like, we need to serve this newbie. So he didn't want to do that. But the thing is, like, ultimately humans were made, like the human form was made to be a vessel for divinity. And I don't really know why Iblis took umbrage to this, but essentially, I'm gonna stop saying their name because I don't want to bring that energy in here. Essentially what happened is he rebelled because he was arrogant and he was self-righteous and entitled. And this is what happens. You have to understand, when you betray your duty, your calling, your mission. We've talked about this before. Many were called, few were chosen, and even fewer fulfilled their mission, fulfilled their calling. And a lot of people have fallen because of this, lost rank. And that shit sucks. We're in a time where we're really calling judgment. The point is, you come here, you have extreme power, free will. Having free will is extreme power. And people will be like, well, if there's fate and there's destiny, then there's no such thing as free will. That's not true, actually. That's not true. And those people might be philosophers, but I wouldn't listen to the philosophies of people who don't actually study occultism or esoterics, because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Like, there are not two options. Both things can be true. Free will can exist, and so can fate. And you can fight against fate all you want. You're the one who's like making yourself exist in this painful experience, you know what I mean? But Seven of Wands here tells me that that is a lot of what was going on, because we were at once naive, we were at once but babies. We were at once fools, but actually 10 of Swords and then Knave of Swords is how it goes. And we get the 7 of Wands. I'm hearing through the wire, but actually I'm hearing through the fire, which is the song that was sampled. And Chaka Khan is like, through the fire, through the river, through the wire, for a chance to be with you. Excuse me. I'd gladly risk it all. Through the fire. I want to say through the river. I am going to look up the lyrics because it actually feels pertinent. Who's that? Oh, 𝗂𝗲𝗄𝗃 got arrested today. BTW. What'd I say? Girl. I'm not going to talk about that on here, but listen, fall of the cabal. Fall of the cabal. Through the fire, to the limit, to the wall. For a chance to be with you, gladly risk it all. Through the fire, through whatever, come what may. For a chance of loving you, take it all the way. Right down to the wire, even through the fire. And then of course I'm hearing, I drink a, what does he say? I drink a booze for, let me just read it. I drink a booze for breakfast and ninja for dessert. Somebody ordered pancakes, I just sipped the scissor. That right there could drive a sane man berserk. Not to worry, Mr. H to the Izzos, back to Wizard. Basically, suffice it to say, you've been through the fire. You've bested a lot of beasts and slayed a lot of dragons. Let's put it that way. What the adversary has thrown at you to destroy you, to defeat you, to take you out of the game, they have not succeeded. They have not succeeded. Story on MTV, and I ain't trying to make a band. You have to obviously understand like the time of when this song came out, like making the band was a big deal, but also I just told you guys that 𝗂𝗲 just got arrested today. And if you are part of the crystalline archives, then you will have seen, and also prophecies that I had on the Instagram page, which I don't think they're on there anymore, but you will have seen things that I prophesied about this happening and why I said it was happening. And listen to me, if you belong to one of the collectives that I've said, like, it's not necessarily that you individually are being attacked, but your collective is being attacked. And they may not know who you as an individual are, but they don't need to know who you as an individual are for them to attack you. Sorry, I just want to make sure that this camera is like up as high as it can go, because it's kind of annoying me. Okay, so they're just like trying to attack you and your collective, basically. Some of you, they do know exactly who you are, but then like if you're an oversoul, they might know exactly who you are if you're the oversoul of your group. If you are deity tier, you know what I mean? But they also might just be doing magic to your entire collective, and it's affecting your collective. This is something that I downloaded yesterday that I feel like is really important. I gotta get my tea. It was too hot to drink before. I feel like what always happens is it's too hot to drink and then I forget about it and then I don't drink it. But I'm experiencing like drainage, which to me means the ajna, the crown chakra seems to be clearing, the ajna, and the throat chakra is definitely clearing. Gross, I hate it, but anyway. How do you console my mom or give her light support? Telling her son's on life support. Just imagine how my girl feel on the plane, scared as hell that her guy looked like 𝗪𝗻𝗄𝗃. She was with me before the deal. She been trying to be mine. She a 𝗸𝗲𝗀𝗃, so she been throwing that dynasty sign. Makes me trying to be lying. I've been trying to get signed, trying to be a millionaire. How I used 2 lifelines in the same hospital where Biggie Smalls died. The doctor said I had blood clots, but I ain't Jamaican, man. Story on MTV, and I ain't trying to make a band. I swear this right here, history in the making, man. And it really was, though. Rebirth. You've gone through the ego death. Now you're going through the rebirth, and we've been saying this is that we've been going through a process of birthing the new earth and birthing our new experience. I was talking to this person today, and we were just talking about how like everybody likes to talk about the apocalypse. Everybody talks about Revelations as if it's like the apocalypse, it's the end of the world. And how many times have I said it's the end of the world as we know it, which is actually a good thing because the world as we've known it has sucked and been terrible, you know. But people tend to forget you have 3 suns rising here, 2 heads, 1 scythe. But there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 8 suns on this card. 5 of them moving through the sky. That's 6, which means there's 9, which is an ending. It's the end of a cycle. 3 of them are rising. The others represent time passing, the passage of time. 3 reminds me of like a triad, triple goddess, but they're all rising together. Ew, there's so much gross purging that's going on. This is the opening of the eclipse window, y'all. Like, everybody has been telling me how fucked up they feel. People aren't eating, people aren't sleeping, people feel ungrounded, people are going the fuck through it. And I'm gonna tell you what, same here. And I was actually sick a couple weeks ago, as y'all know, and I personally have been doing so much work in the ethers and so much just so much work, you know, exorcisms, like energy work, just doing the fucking thing, you know. And it's exhausting, and people don't know, like, not only how energetically tolling it is to field satanic and demonic energies, but then also to have to handle them, and to have to like deal with them, and also try and live a normal life, and also be a full-time student, and also like, you know, have a job, or own a business, or be an artist, or whatever the heck you do as your vocation. Like, that stuff, they don't talk about that stuff, you know what I mean? They don't understand the gravity of that stuff, and it's exhausting. So right now we are like at the eclipse gate. We are at the eclipse window, through the looking glass, Alice in Wonderland, okay? And I'm saying this because I say this every year, twice a year. What do I call eclipse season? What do I say about eclipse season? The gates of hell opening. And what did I say in that reading that I did last week? Or 2 weeks ago, maybe? I said, run like a bat out of hell. When you get the chance, when the gates open, run like a bat out of hell. That's what I said. And I mean that shit. I mean it. Let go of all of the past, the timelines, the what have you, the resentments, the karmic patterns run like a bat out of hell, and trust that you will be better off without all of that shit behind you. Like, what is it? Behold, I'm doing a new thing. Do you not know it? I will make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. I'm paraphrasing. The end of times, the quote-unquote apocalypse. The term apocalypse literally means like a revelation. What was hidden is now revealed. That's actually what it means. That's what the book of Revelations is about. It is about the revelation of truth, that which had been hidden. It is about the removal of the veils, the 7 seals being removed. And people always talk about, oh, the end, but what they don't ever talk about, because this is the Western misconception of death, is that it's the end. There is no end. There are but cycles. The wheel of samsara, the wheel of fortune. Energy moves in a spiral, not a line. Okay? And quantumly, you know, if you're just 2D, then you think that it's an Ouroboros moving in a circle. But quantumly, it's actually like more so what I guess you might think, not a nucleotide, but an atom. You know how like atoms have those like 3 loops surrounding it when they show it, when they like depict it. Maybe like that, but essentially instead of a circle, it's a sphere. Let's just put it that way. Just like I said about the, what is between a pentagram and a septagram? 6. It's a 6-point star. You know, the Star of David, essentially. But in the 3D, it's a 𝗪𝗶. It's a circle, is actually a sphere. So we're not going around. We're actually like, there are other dimensions and other planes that we can travel to rather than going around in a Groundhog Day fashion. And look at this. It's not a groundhog, but it's a beaver. But still, that's 7 of Wands. Like, why are we doing this? Why are we going around? Like, why are we even bothering to fight with the forces of nature? If we just surrender, then we can transcend. But because of ego and being unwilling to take accountability for our free will choices, we're just like, oh, well, I did it because this happened to me. Or, oh, well, I did that thing that I wasn't supposed to do and I knew better than to do it because this happened to me in my childhood. Well, guess what? You're grown. You're a grown-ass adult. And you didn't have to do it. You really didn't. But people don't want to have accountability to their actions because they enjoy causing harm. They enjoy perpetuating these karmic cycles. That's the thing they're not going to tell you. They're not going to say, I did it because I wanted to. It's always somebody else's fault. Why you get stuck in samsara. Why you get stuck in the cycle of suffering. It's not a lot of people who are willing to pursue moksha, to pursue liberation from suffering, which you don't need to die a physical death in this incarnation and move on to another incarnation. You don't need to die. You can die an ego death and become someone new and be reborn. And let me tell you something. When you truly go through that ego death and are reborn, the suffering that is associated with whatever incendiary event started you down this path of, well, it is an incendiary event because the energy, it's going to get to where it's going. It's going to be resolved eventually, even if not in this lifetime. Even if it's 1,000,000 years from now, it will get resolved. That is the nature of existence. But, you know, you don't have to wait 1,000,000 years. Your soul doesn't have to wait 1,000,000 years. You can really let that shit go now. You can really let that shit go right now. The full moon in Pisces. Fear is the barrier to integration and union. I said about the tetrahedron in the 𝗪𝗶 field, the vehicle that allows you to travel to any timeline you want. Oh, well, I can't travel and see what it's like on Mars. Have you ever even tried? Have you ever tried to astral project? Because if you haven't, then I don't really care to hear that you can't do it. Because when you try in earnest and make a sincere effort, it just might be that you might know what that's like. You may not have the visualization of it, although I've taken people on visualization journeys to other realms when I've done guided meditation for groups. I've been in dream working or path working sessions with other practitioners. My good friend 𝗂𝗵𝗁𝘂𝗪 has led group path working, and you know, you go to these realms within yourself. Whether or not you see it visually, that might not be how you experience it, but you might go to sleep that night and have dreams that you never experienced before. And also, you know, I've talked about this on my TikTok, but sometimes you don't remember your dreams, not because you didn't have any dreams, because we know that that doesn't exist. Science has already proven that. Maybe it's because the level of consciousness that you are at in your dreams, where you travel to, is a level of consciousness that your body now and your present consciousness, your waking consciousness cannot conceive of or perceive of. And I realize this because when it's not deja vu, it's not the same necessarily as deja vu, but when I have like moments where I'm sitting and experiencing something and I'm like, oh my God, I dreamed about this. But like, I forgot that I dreamed about it. Not necessarily forgetting, but like, I couldn't access that dream because in my waking life, because my consciousness hadn't developed to that degree yet. Whereas like the version of me that travels around the ethers when I'm dream walking, that she goes anywhere. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, what kind of dreams did you have last night? Sometimes I feel bad because like other people will like remember their dreams so clearly and so vividly, and I'll just be like, I don't have that experience a lot of the time. The reason why, though, I realized I downloaded last year is that like I don't have that same experience because I'm going to dimensions that are so high vibrational that like there's no visualization that's going to match what I'm going through and what I'm experiencing. You know what I mean? You might have that same experience too if you're a dream walker, but you don't remember your dreams. Talking about circles, liberation from suffering. This death card. I was saying something with this. By the way, we get the death card and we get the Ace of Wands. Oh yeah, we came here to learn lessons. If this is your first time ever incarnating, like you came here for a reason, and it is to learn what Earth is like. It is to learn what it means to incarnate as a human, and there are certain things that you want to learn, you want to go through, you want to experience. But I don't think that means that like we chose to suffer. You know, this idea of like it's either free will or it's destiny and fate. No. You know what I mean? Like it's actually both. Both things can exist at once. And that finite binary thinking is what gives you the idea of like an ultimate absolute death. That doesn't exist. The only way that happens is if you fall so far that like you are eradicated. You know how depraved you have to be? You have to commit cosmic crimes. And that does include betraying your mission. And it's not a good experience. I wouldn't recommend it. So don't let fear stop you from you know, living your truth and being authentic and being integrated, because you're gonna suffer more than just shame. But so she tries to pull these babies apart, and this is the thing, when you're living two lives or multiple lives. There's an episode of Rick and Morty where Morty is unsure, so they keep splitting into different timelines, and he has to get sure in order to get to just the one timeline so that they can get out of the universe that they're experiencing that in and just go back to their universe. And that's exactly what it is when you have these different timelines. And right now we're sitting at the gate. Let me finish this thought. You don't have to die an absolute death to be reborn, and to get liberation from suffering. You just have to have an ego death. That old version of you that you were defining yourself by, you got to let that shit go. Period. You have to just let it go. And that is easier said than done, because there's also a lot of grief that personally I know firsthand, like being disabused of the illusions that I was laboring under, which I felt were keeping me safe. There were many times when I told people, trusted confidants, this grief feels like it's gonna kill me. I don't know how I'm gonna get through the grief that I'm experiencing right now. It was multiple times over the course of the past few years that I said that. But I'm not dead, bitch. And in fact, I really truly am better than ever. I really truly, like, I don't just say that. It's not cap. Like, I really truly am living a life beyond my wildest dreams. And it may not be materially what I want it to be. I don't know if I talked about this on here. I think I was telling a friend about this. Or I was telling my mentor. I used to have access to wealth and status and clout and such and so on and so forth. And yeah, I was living the life that I thought was like my best life, and ultimately the access that I had was fraught because I didn't have it. I didn't have the keys necessarily. And the relationships that gained me access were fraught as well, and unhealthy, and ultimately destructive, extractive, and exploitative. And it's not just one relationship, it's a lot of relationships. It required me self-abandoning. Ignorance is bliss. I didn't know. I knew how bad. I actually didn't know the depths of how much I was suffering, but I knew that it was bad. But then I was able to trick myself into thinking that it was all Gucci. It was not Gucci though. Yeah, and as I just like woke up to the truth more and more, and woke up to the reality more and more, especially of myself. This is through the looking glass, y'all. Especially to myself. And that process takes as long as it takes. As long as it's ordained to take, as well as long as, like, you know, we make it take. As I repossessed my sovereignty and reclaimed my sovereignty, more and more I lost more and more access to the material markers of success and so on and so forth. I was not joyous. I was not happy, joyous, and free. I was not. I was using substances and glamour very specific usage of that language. I was using substances and glamour to delude myself into thinking that things were better than they were. And that, I believe, is why I had to have all of those things taken away from me, so that I could experience the level of humility that was necessary for me to be able to transcend the transcend the prison. Let's put it that way, to transcend the prison. Strength in reverse, vulnerability. Tell the fucking truth. Clenched jaw is what I'm sensing. You're clenching your jaw because you don't want to tell the truth. You're grinding your teeth because you're stressed out, because you're pretending to be something that you're not. You're grinding your teeth because you're stressed out by the false matrix. None of this shit is real. None of this shit is real. And the moment that you realize that and take back your power, we're like, oh, but we all need to take back our power. Okay, we all need to take back our power. You start. You start. And the rest will follow eventually when it becomes cool enough. But you start. And then you'll find the other people who are doing it. But if you've actually taken back your power, you don't need other people to be taking back their power for you to be okay with being in your power. That's what integrity is. Nothing feels better than being in your integrity. Stamp. I kid you not. Nothing feels better than being in your integrity. 101 on the clock. How do you console my mom and give her life support? Death, grief, loss. It's all culminating now. So the attacks have been manifold. It's not just purging, it's also attacks. I will tell you that. It's because they sense, let me come back for a second though. Being in two realities is exhausting and it's painful. It's like the false mother and the real mother pulling the baby. The false mother will pull you until you break because she don't give a fuck. Who's the false mother? Who cannot actually create? Sympathy for the devil. 𝗫𝗫𝗫𝗫. 8 of Wands in the reverse. Those pretentious lineages that pretend to be the deities, it's time to pay up. It's time to pay the piper. Karma's not fucking playing around. Neither am I, bitch. Sun enters Libra on the 22nd. That's the equinox. Through the looking glass. And on October 2nd, we have, look what came out. On October 2nd, we have the new moon solar eclipse in Libra. Libra is not just about being pretty. Libra is not just about the good vibes. Libra is not just airy fairy. No, Libra is actually associated with Athena. It's the scales of justice, baby. Karma for karmics. They're trying to keep you from coming into union. Trust your gut. Trust your gut. You know that it's happening right now. No matter what, you have to, at a certain point, you have to stop watching tarot videos and astrology videos and downloads and prophecies, and you have to just trust your own fucking intuition and what you know to be right at a certain point. And anyway, you know something, it's not, if you can't trust yourself, then it's not even good for you to be watching those kinds of things, because you don't have the discernment to be able to know what's for you and what's not for you, and that makes it dangerous. Because it's not even entertaining, because regardless, you're going to be on some bullshit. Five of Cups in the reverse. This is the end of suffering. This is the end of suffering because it's the end of you being at war with yourself. How do you support my mom and give her light support? Wait, how do you console my mom and give her light support, telling her son's on life support? I'm hearing self-abandonment. The people who you're leaving behind, that hometown energy, I'm hearing like some big forgive them for they know not what they do. They don't have the same mission that's been put in their heart, the same that you have in yours. And also, these people, abundant mindset, they're not meant to go where you're meant to go. And you know better than them. If you are of a higher level of consciousness, which you are, you know better than them. Do remember that when Yeshua went back to his hometown to heal and prophesy and do the work that he was ordained to do, what did they say? How can it be so? This is the son of Mary and Joseph, the brother of so-and-so and so-and-so? And he couldn't do many miracles there, and he left. That's how the story goes. He didn't do many miracles in his hometown because they didn't believe. They didn't believe. They were just like, no, we know him. He's not nobody special. But the thing is, they all knew he was special from the beginning. This is my experience, and this is your experience too. The black sheep, the scapegoat, they wouldn't do that to you if they didn't know that you were special. The mere fact that they do it shows that you are set apart from them. And they know that. And they don't like that, because misery loves company. Your presence in their life reminds them of the fact that they are weak sauce. And they don't have to be weak sauce. That's the thing. That's a personal decision that they've been making. They've been making a personal decision to be tired hoes and lame bitches. I would say, you know what? I would say I wouldn't make that decision. But the fact of the matter is, we all make those kinds of decisions every once in a while. We all self-abandon every once in a while. This is a good background. I'm going to do the videos like this moving forward. I've been drinking heart-opening tea, and I've been drinking it with passion hibiscus for blood purification. Coming into union, they don't want you to come into union, okay? They don't want you to move forward because they don't want the old earth to fall away and die and the new earth to come into being. It doesn't fucking matter what they want. That's the thing, is like, oh, I don't want you to do that. It's like having a jealous partner and they're like, I don't want you to wear makeup when you go out because I don't want people looking at you. I don't care what you want, actually. What I want is for you to not be so insecure. Do you care what I want? What I want is you to get the fuck better. Just because they don't want it doesn't mean that it's not gonna happen. I don't want to grow old and die. Well, too bad. Doesn't matter what you want. It's written in the stars. You can try and fight it, but right now 𝗬𝗲𝗃𝗁𝗃 is on Prime Video, so like everybody's making posts about like 𝗬𝗲𝗃𝗁𝗃. My first show that I curated, which now I like low-key cringe, and it's like, oh, thank God for art school, right? But whatever, I did that shit, and I got a write-up too, so boop. Four of Pentacles. It's a karmic ass time, bro. The Magician in reverse, the World in reverse, Knight of Pentacles. These weak bitches are throwing magic, and a lot of them are being used by the adversary, by Shaitan, because Shaitan can't do anything on their own. They need a vessel to work through. These weak hoes. This is why I say don't fuck around with mundanes, for one, but it's worse to be around people who are spiritually powerful who pretend to be mundanes, because that's who Shaitan loves to possess. And those people, those are the fucking kitchen witches who stay doing love spells, stay doing baneful magic to like make you ugly or to make you gain weight. Those are those weak ass bitches who be on that type of shit, and they're the ones who they don't even notice, they don't even realize that they're doing curses when they're sitting looking at your Instagram, obsessively thinking about you, how they hate you, how they wish that this would happen to you, and putting the evil eye on you. Whole time they don't even realize Shaitan's working through them, casting curses through them, putting these quote-unquote intrusive thoughts in their minds, these obsessions that they have with you. That's what that shit is. And you're like, oh, but I can't believe that person would like do a curse against me. You can't believe it. They probably can't believe it either, because they don't even know what they're doing. Why? Because they're too caught up in the matrix to fucking learn what they need to learn to master their powers and, you know, keep themselves safe and others safe from them. That's like giving Donald Trump, excuse me, let me run that shit back. That's like giving 45 who wants to be 47. That's like giving 45 the nuclear codes. I mean, look what happened. Look what happened. He stole important documents. And he did do that. That's what that's like. You know what I mean? Those people, they fall. Because they're also, doesn't matter that they're being used. They agreed to do those things. Everybody knows better than to be a fucking hater. Everyone knows that. You don't need to be told don't be a hater. You know that what you're doing is wrong. You know that what you're doing is cringy. Otherwise you wouldn't feel like shit. But they still choose to sit there and indulge their sickness. That's free will. They may not know that something's working through them, but I guarantee you, very close under the surface, they do know. They do know better. Because they sense it. These people are receiving justice now. Call judgment. Call judgment, because if it were up to them, they would have already called judgment on you. You know why? Because they are judging you. And yet and still you're afraid to call divine judgment. Meanwhile, they're actually vessels for evil. Oh, I can't believe that somebody... Listen, believe what you want to believe. Don't believe what you don't want to believe. But I pity the fool. If you keep hearing it, it's probably true. Some of these people, their powers are being taken away from them. Abuse of power comes as no surprise. There you go. You're sitting around doing come to me spells. You're sitting around casting curses. What a weak bitch, dumbass thing to do. Why don't you just go and do magic to make your life better? Do some magic to love yourself. You can't do that. You want to do a love spell on somebody else, to control somebody else, to take away their sovereignty and their free will. but you can't do a self-love spell. That's okay though. We forgive and we have compassion for the fact that clearly they have a lesson that they need to learn, and they're gonna learn it. Trust and believe. Call judgment. Right now, it is the time of revelations. The shit that was done in the dark is being brought to light. What did I say? What did I say? Did I not just say at the beginning of this reading, Diddy got arrested today? How long was he getting away with all of that stuff? And it got worse because he thought he was going to get away with it forever. That's the insanity of the arrogant. If you haven't read the past, well, 4 newsletters, because this week I sent out 2 newsletters. And last week I sent out the newsletter for the astrology of this week and last week and this week. So we have the astrology out for the up to the 20th. And then we have 2 newsletters because that download that I got was so fucking big that I ran out of space the first time. Then I almost ran out of space the second time. I had to delete some shit the second time. There were like images from my archives that I wanted to add that I didn't add. From my Book of Shadows archives that I couldn't add them because they ran out of space. 2. So if you're not subscribed to the mysteries tier of my Substack newsletter, the channel, I really recommend you to go and subscribe, because I talked about the arrogant on there, capital A arrogant, and we talked about like one of the verses from Matthew. Yeah, the one in which the chapter in which Yeshua explains why he uses parables. So go look at the past 4. You can get a free subscription to the channel and get a 7-day free trial and read as many newsletters as you possibly can, and see if that's something that you want to invest in. But then also I would like to say, we have on the 22nd, on the 22nd, this Sunday, this upcoming Sunday, if you're watching this when I'm recording it, we have our first workshop, our first circle in a long time, at 1 p.m. Eastern time on the autumnal equinox. So the link is going to be down in the description, and I would love to see all of you there. And you call judgment, because they're not even calling fucking judgment on you, bro. They are actively judging you. Meanwhile, you've been sitting there being compassionate as fuck. The thing is, it's not even about being like, oh, that person's a terrible person. That's not what it's about. It's about like, your character is the sum of your actions. If you are holistically and characteristically a harm doer for nothing, I think it's okay for me to be like, yo, you're a loser ass bitch. If you are hating on people who are doing nothing to you, and you are actively sending them evil energy, hateful energy, wishing ill upon them, because that's what the fuck is going on. I'm trying to tell you, you're being protected by Big G. You're being protected by your angels, ancestors, and guides. Your great gods, guides, and ancestors are protecting you, because you don't even know the half of what these motherfuckers are wishing upon you. And some of these people are your blood family, your blood relatives. Some of these people, you take the clothes off your back to put on them. Meanwhile, they would kill you if they knew they could get away with it. They don't even want to admit that shit to themselves. But that's why they do that death by 1,000 cuts. It's all these little ways that they tear you down to break your spirit. So then you'll be the walking dead like them, because they already gave up on themselves. They hate themselves, obviously. People are so caught up in the idea of death of the body. Don't even be concerned about fucking like spiritual death and being a dead man walking. How many zombies are out here, bro? A lot. Oh, 21 Savage. I don't even know the words to that song, but y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. But I also was thinking about like I listened to 𝗪𝗀𝗁𝗁 yesterday for the last time. This is the last time that I'm gonna ever listen to 𝗪𝗀𝗁𝗁. And it really didn't hit the way that I used to hit, I'll tell you that much, which is fucking sad. But good, because fuck them. Well, not fuck him, but you know, fuck the other one. And he was like, probably have a zombie on me. If he didn't need to get his like citizenship, he'd probably have a zombie on him, which is to say like he would have caught a body by now, but he couldn't because the stakes were too high, which is probably not true. He probably has killed someone. But yeah, a lot. When you're chosen, it's like you can't be playing around with people, because also within oneself, even subconsciously, people find it offensive when you try and pretend that you're on the same level, because y'all both know that you're not. Y'all both know that you're not. It's like if somebody who grew up wealthy, well, this happens a lot actually, where people who grew up wealthy like to pretend that they're like poor, or they like to cosplay poor and act like they don't have, that they never had any money. Oh, like, oh my God, like, I'm so broke right now. And it's like, dude, you literally have like your dad's Amex. Like, what are you talking about? Listen, I've witnessed it firsthand, and it's crazy. And I'll tell you what, it's very offensive. Actually, it was always very offensive to me when people would act like, you know, we're going through the same shit. You're not experiencing anywhere close to the same thing that I'm experiencing. Like, just be real about what's going on here and be grateful and shut the fuck up. Don't judge me, and I'm not gonna judge you. But for you to sit here and pretend means that you think that there's something wrong here, that you, or like there's some sort of guilt, there's some kind of shame and judgment that means that I should feel guilty, and you don't, like, you have to masquerade and you have to lie. Same thing with being chosen, same thing with being blessed up, okay? When you know, it's like being really, this is why I try and tell people, like, if you're attractive, like if you have like proximity to desirability, don't sit here and act like you don't sit here and act like you're some plain Jane, because you're not. Admit to your privilege, you know what I mean? And if you're chosen, if you're blessed and highly favored, and you're trying to quote unquote slum it with the mundies, you're wondering why people are rejecting you, because you don't belong there. Your frequency is never going to match with theirs, and just on an energetic principle, it will always reject you. And rejection is God's protection, because you're not supposed to be there. You're supposed to be in the same group or the same space as the people who are on your level, but you're trying to act like you're on the same level as them. That's disrespectful. That's what I'm trying to tell you. How are you going to be college educated arguing with a kindergartner? It's like when people are, you know, when kids don't pay attention in class because the coursework is too easy for them. You got to be for real with yourself. It's just, this is how we come into balance. You know, with this judgment card here, I do sense that like there's something that you're not admitting to yourself. Revelations, it's all coming out. Everything's being revealed right now. And the more that you're willing to accept life on life's terms and accept the truth for what it is, the easier things are going to be for you. I've talked about this a lot before because I've been going through this process of like realizing people who claim to be my friends were hella jealous and hella envious of me. And they would like do and say all this backhanded shit They couldn't even fucking help themselves because they were envious of me. They couldn't help themselves. And my dumbass was like, oh no, like we're the same. No, we're not. They know it and so do I. But I don't want to admit it to myself as, oh, I don't want to like act like I'm better than anyone. Get the fuck out of here with that shit, bro. If you're not having progress, it's because you're not allowing yourself to progress. It ends today. When darkness turns to light, it ends tonight. It ends tonight. Yeah, they're having their powers taken away from them. The people who were doing this, like some of you, I would say that these people were convinced by a nefarious energy, entity, or expression of existence. They were convinced by a negative being, a malevolent being, by a servant of Shaitan or Shaitan itself, if they are somebody who has clairvoyant or clairaudient, if they have clair abilities, maybe they're a medium or a psychic and they don't know, they just don't know shit because they have been afraid to explore or learn or whatever. They got taken advantage of and they were used to open portals to attack you. They were used to do baneful magics against you. They may have even been driven crazy, really, is what I'm picking up here. These people were driven crazy. And they might even use, if you're in no contact with these people, some of these people are like actually like gonna have to go to a mental institution because they've lost their mind. I don't know how else to put it. They are experiencing psychosis and they're not coming out of that shit. Some of these people, dead ass. Others of them, their community has left them because they're like, you're fucking nuts. Like, we never signed up for this. They found out the depths of what they've been doing. They're not fucking with it. Let me put it this way too. Some of these people, it's like, oh, they were in a relationship and they were like doing, it's like, okay, so if someone was in a relationship and they were doing like love spells and like binding rituals and shit on their partner or whatever to get them to stay, and their partner found out about it and left them. Or they were obsessed with you and they were like doing like baneful magic against you or whatever to keep y'all from being together, or because they thought that they wanted you, whatever the fuck it was. The partner's finding out, the friend group is finding out, you know, the boss, what have you. Whoever they were trying to get to keep away from you so you wouldn't come into union, that person's found out and left them. So it had the opposite effect. But I wouldn't laugh. I wouldn't say that the entities got the last laugh. They're all going down. They're all going down. Karma for karmics. Yeah, try to do all of your magics before the eclipse window, honestly. I know some people fuck with eclipse magics and eclipse energy, but I really don't. If you're somebody who does like chaos magic, I would collect that maybe. Or if you like use shadow in that capacity, I would collect that maybe. But personally, I do not deal with eclipse energy. Not here for it. No, thank you. But like I said, it's the gates of hell opening. So if you've been going through it, a lot of shit is being purged right now. But we are moving forward regardless of the fact that they did not want us to. They're stuck in the old earth. But yeah, so what I was saying is like, people always talk about like the end of times, but they don't talk about the new earth, the new heaven or new earth. There's a complete rebirth. There's an eradication of all of the evil, and a new age comes into being that is all the good things are brought to life once more, and all the bad things fall away. That's actually what happens in the book of Revelations. But they don't want to talk about that because these fucking evangelical apocalypto man like people, these people, they feed on fear. If these people, this is the thing you have to understand. I may talk about like the karmic shit that happens and the shadow shit, but like, we're besting that. You got to know your enemies so that you can usurp them. You don't even have to usurp them because they're beneath you anyway. And I'm telling you that. But these people are like, you gotta give me $1,000 because if you don't, you won't get saved by Jesus on the other side during the times of revelation. Like, bro, fuck out of here with that shit. Like, did Yeshua not say, like, I am the way, the light, and the truth, or whatever he said, like, the only way to my Father is through me? And when we've decoded that in the Mysteries newsletters, but it's like he's channeling, he's speaking of Christ consciousness, which is the river, access to the high heart chakra, the fountain of life, the living waters. We all have a high heart chakra, and it's Christ consciousness is accessible to each and every single one of us. You don't need to pay fucking Joel Osteen or Olstein or whatever his name is. You don't need to pay him $1,000 for salvation. Save your damn self. You're the only one who can. 10222 on the timer. You're the only one who can. That's the thing that, like, you know, and I was talking to my friend 10234. I was talking to my friend today, and I was just like, it's like, I just wonder, I don't think these people have actually ever read the Bible. Knave of Cups. You're about to be sitting pretty. You're gonna have to get used to the luxury. And it's different to each person. Like I said, like my dream car is a G-Wagon, Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon X-Class, and a Jeep Wrangler in Jolly Rancher blue. White Mercedes G-Wagon X-Class X100. Two of them, I want an iridescent purple wrap and an iridescent pink wrap, so I can look like I am floating around in a little bubble, like a little orb driving around. Those are my dream cars. I want a husky. I want a German Shepherd. I could even fuck with a 𝗵𝗱𝗄 for real. And I also wanted a Malamute. They're really big though. I'd also be super down for a chow, but I don't want a slobbery dog, so maybe not a chow. But yeah, like, those are the things that I want. But some people love chihuahuas. I don't want a chihuahua. They got those big ass little heads. But, you know, I see the value in them. I see why people might want them. I don't. I want a big ass wolf dog. That's what I want. And, you know, some people want a Prius. Some people don't want a car. They just want to ride around on their bicycle all day. Some people, you know, they just want to live somewhere where they can just ride around in a canoe or something. Some people don't. They just want to live in a walking city. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing of it. It's to each their own. What is your luxury? What is your success? You can look at your 10th house in your natal chart as well as your 6th house to know what that means to you. And you can also look at your 4th house because that has to do with home life. But yeah, like your midheaven, that, all that good stuff. And yeah, 4th house, I'd also say, like, can really help us to understand what makes us feel safe and comforted. And that's an important part of understanding what your lifestyle needs to be. But if you're somebody, you don't want to work hard, you don't want to work at all, then career don't have, like, there's nothing to do with career. That's not what 10th house is about. The 10th house is about your lifestyle. And listen, some people, their dream of luxury is to own a bakery, whereas other people don't want to work at all, and they just want to sit around and do their makeup all day, and that's fine. And some people want to be a high-powered lawyer. I don't understand that. I can't fucking, I cannot fathom. 0550. I cannot fathom that. But that is some people's idea of their best life. And, you know, it's accessible. Everybody can have that. That's what's coming in. You're gonna be sitting pretty. You're gonna have to get used to the miracles and the prosperity and the abundance that's coming to you in this time. Karma for karmics, 3 of Cups. You're coming together, the great gathering, okay? More and more throughout this eclipse window. Shit's about to get crazy, actually, with this Diddy indictment, or like going into federal custody. Shit is about to get crazy, and I also think that it has to do with the elections as well. And also, yesterday, there was an assassination attempt. Like, shit is about to get really crazy. Like, it's about to go down. When life in West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground is where I spent most of my days, sitting out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, while playing some b-ball outside of school. When a couple of guys, they were up to no good, started making trouble in my neighborhood. Got in one little fight. My mom got scared. She said, "You're moving with your auntie and Uncle to Bel Air. Whistle for a cab." That skips the whole verse. Whistle for a cab, and when it came near, the license plates were fresh and they were dice in the mirror. If anything, I could say that this cab was rare, but I thought, no, forget it. You're home to Bel Air. I pulled up to the house about 7 or 8, and I yelled to the cab, "You're home, smell you later." Looked to my kingdom, I was finally there to sit on my throne as the Prince of Bel Air. Why did that come out? 𝗵𝗵𝗱𝗁. Topsy-turvy is what I was hearing. Life got turn upside down. Now I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there, tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air. He went from West Philadelphia. One of my closest friends, one of my college besties, grew up in West Philadelphia. It's the hood. It's not a cute little place. It's the hood. It's working class and poor people. And Bel Air is very wealthy. Obviously, that's the whole point of the show. I love that neighborhood where that house is the house that they like used for the stock footage or whatever. I love that neighborhood. Fucking gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful neighborhood. But those, like, that's what it's about to be. Life can actually be that good. But if things are getting topsy-turvy in the world, in the matrix, that's fine, because the meek shall inherit the what? The world, the earth. The first shall be last and the last shall be first, right? How do you think that's gonna happen if shit don't get topsy-turvy? How do you think that's gonna happen if shit don't get topsy-turvy? Through the looking glass, I'm seeing in my mind's eye an hourglass, and it turns over. I've been having these memories coming up from, like, I guess a dream that I used to have of the doctor's office that I used to go to, Dr. Merrick. Dude, and oh my god. Okay, that's the end of this reading. I gotta go. I gotta tap in with my soul fam, because that memory I just had was terrifying, actually. That was really fucked up. But shit like that is going on, if you are finding it hard to focus, if you are spaced out, if you 011-022 on the timer, if you, it's just like hard to lock into the material world, remember that baby being torn apart. And you gotta choose. You gotta choose for yourself, because in this case, yeah, you're the baby, but you got free will, okay? Like, it is mad uncomfortable sitting at the fucking gate. And the thing about it is, it's not a gate where it's like, oh, it opens and you walk in. No, the gate is a portal. It is a threshold, a purification filter that shears all of that, like, low vibrational, dense, spiritual detritus, that karma, all that shit gets sheared off. I talked about this little Piscean reverse osmosis filter, 11111 on the fucking timer, bro. Cannot make this shit up. I talked about it in the mysteries newsletters, and this is why I actually started the mysteries newsletters, because now we have a reference, a point of reference where you can go see all this shit written down and like track the narrative, because it all tracks. If you go back to 2020 when I had, or 2019 through 2020 when I had my Patreon, and I uploaded all of those videos onto here because I felt like this information was too important to have it behind that paywall. Tracking that information as I have done, and tracking the astrology since 2018, moving forward, taking the fucking trash out, bro. Taking the fucking trash out. That progress, everything lines up, everything like comes full circle every fucking time. Cannot make this shit up. 112-211-1222. You cannot make this shit up, or you could, but the truth is stranger than fiction. 1 2 3 on the timer. 1 2 3 4 on the timer. Shit is being purged. And it's like part of our body has gone through the filter and is brand new, and then the other part of our body is still being purified and purged, and part of us is still identifying with old earth and identifying with the demonic shadow empire, because we are still in part living that reality, but it's just a matter of time. Literally, we say this all the time, the material world is the final frontier, okay? Like, that is the densest, so that's where the karma's picked up. But if you're already living in that mindset mentally, your consciousness has already gone through that shift. It's a mental and emotional and causal. You change your behavior. You just need to trust that it's going to happen in the 3D. And you know this. It's about having faith, my friends. I love you all truly and deeply. I'm so glad that we didn't end up looking at the chart, because I'll just tell you, I already know Saturn is retrograde and Neptune is retrograde in the sign of Pisces. But we didn't look at the chart because I feel like this reading would have gone on so much longer. Y'all know, usually these readings go on like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Well, this will be it's about an hour and a half, but like these years will go on 2 hours, and especially for it to be like for the lunar eclipse. That's why the workshop, the circle, is going to be 2 hours, 2.5 hours, because I know that some shit is really going to come out. But listen, 𝗵𝗄𝗃-𝗁𝗂𝗃, life turned upside down. They've been stealing your power, and now you're about to get all that shit back and more. Everything they took from you, 444, bruh. 11444, bruh. Everything that they took from you, you're about to get your inheritance. I'm so happy for you. You can already taste it. You can already feel it, because that dark night of the soul that you were going through, that Job season, that humiliation ritual that you've been going through, it's already coming to an end, and you know it. You feel that you're coming out of hell, right? And it's not even just coming out of the gates of hell. but the gates of heaven, it's easy to go through the gates of hell. Shit, it's easy as hell. But to get through the gates of heaven, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of the needle than for a rich man to get through the gates of heaven. It's not just rich, it's also privilege. You don't want to lose that shit. If you're not willing to humble yourself and lose everything that you thought made you powerful, that you thought made you valid, that you thought made you worthy, then you will never find the kingdom of heaven that lives inside you, which is the high heart chakra. You will never find what truly empowers you, which is the divine spark that enlivens you. And you will never find what truly makes you valuable, which is that you are fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of the Most High Divine Creator, and you are unconditionally loved no matter what you do, no matter what anybody has to say, point blank, period. Sometimes you gotta lose everything that you thought defined you to really find you. I love you all truly and deeply. I hope that this was helpful. Happy hunting.